Yeah, welcome all. It is the 16th of February 2023. Commissioner of the TRSBA, Tim Wilshire, probably haven't had a shave for a bit there. We've just got another episode to share with you. It's the start of the round of 8 playoffs, and also just a bit about the rule changes. So hang on a sec, just to sort that out. There's okay. I think we're okay. Let's just get started. So this is season 26, episode 6. This is the round of 8, the TRSBA playoffs, the quarterfinals. We'll talk a bit about who's made it. There's just the last couple of results there first. The Predators roll past the Butchers, and I friggin' can't even spell Butchers there. 2-0. Nice 40 fantasy points a game there from Paul George. He's supporting Beal, Brook, Lopez. What really happened here was the Butchers sort of had a low average scoring year to what they expected, and that's mainly because of the Carl Towns injury. Jamal Murray out quite a bit of recent times as well. Those sort of things cost them. They had Turner, they had Jimmy Butler, they had Capella, but it wasn't enough to get past Embiid, Paul George, and Beal, Zach LaVine. So Brook Lopez as well off the bench had been massive. So congratulations for Predators to getting to the round of 8. They'll move on and no doubt be up against the Brad Heffernan-led Alabama Wild Boars. Flyers roll past the Tigers in a tight 2-1 series. So the rightful team did win. The Flyers are the better team. They've got the better players, the better superstars. It was a battle here between Jokic, Sabonis, Carter, all of those sort of players. So, yeah, Kawhi Leonard, Dinwiddie, Rozier, those three guys were massive for the Flyers. I'd be interested to see what they do with whether LeBron can come back. He was injured for this particular game and probably all of that series after he broke the record. So great year for the Tigers. De'Aaron Fox had a really good year. Sabonis a good year. Those two probably the standouts, but they probably need a bit more help to get to the next level because the West is tough. They could probably beat a lot of teams in the East. But well done, Wayne. It's been a tough road to get back, and this is a very competitive league at the present time. So we're going to move on to these, what we call quarterfinal round of 8 matchups, whatever you want to call them. And it's the Saints versus the Double Doubles. And this will be a series without Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson. There he is. He's played 29 games only. He's averaged 35.8 fantasy points a game. If you have a look at the Aiton, he's got his above average. Look at the recent games, 38 fantasy points a game over the last 10. Massive. He could be a big factor in this series. He needs to step up. He needs to continue to play like this for the Saints to have any chance of winning this series. SGA, we know it's been well documented. His 9 FP increase from last year. He's up from 32 to 41. Morant is 39.5. That's expected. A slight drop off there for Trey at 37.5. The bench is really rock solid. Look at these bench players here. Evan Mobley, 27.4. Hero, 29.4. Vassell, again, like Zion, has played 29 games. Will he be back? That's the big thing. And they'll need Clarkson to play. 27 fantasy points for Clarkson has been really good this year. A great pickup, Dennis, getting Clarkson. They're up against the double doubles. Gobert has started to step up a bit lately, so those stats aren't reflective of the game I saw the other day where he got about 40 fantasy points. AD has been playing. He's played 34, so he's still missed a lot, but hopefully he can stick around. They will need him. Luka has missed some games as well, probably about nearly 10 missed games, 8 to 10, 48.6 fantasy points. He does lead the TRSBA, I'm pretty sure. Wagner has had a really cold stretch. 18.6 over the last 10 has been ice cold. J. Rue has had a really good stretch though, and I think he's going to be in the mid 30s in this series. Portis has been good. I'd expect, I'm not sure why Pirtle's not in the 9. I expect him to get jettisoned into the 9 pretty quickly after the monster game that he had the other day. Buddy Hield's been good. Kenyon Martin's on the way up. Look at the Kenyon, 24.7 over the last 10. It's very good. Different Chens, though, hopefully he's not playing. I don't think they want him in the rotation, but certainly I think Pirtle's the better player. So I'm not. That's just a cut from so maybe they need to update their their rotation because it doesn't make sense for Pirtle not to be in the 9. On to the next series, Barbarians versus the Flyers. A big one because the Flyers have a chance if LeBron James plays. Now, LeBron has been massive this year, 44 fantasy points a game, so he's been huge. But the injury is going to be a big concern, and the minutes are going to be a concern in this series. OG's been out; he's missed quite a few games, and he's not performing at the level they want. We know Kawhi Leonard is getting 40 over the last 10, so expect a massive series from Kawhi. That could be enough. Rozier will get at least 30. He's been really good, 33.4, underrated in this format. Dinwiddie's definitely stepped it up. He's 32 over the last 10, 28.4 over the last 20. He's massive. Brogdon been good. Dort, not so much, I don't think. Harrison Barnes, not so much. So they really, those last couple of guys, they're going to struggle, I think. But is there enough firepower up the top to win? If we have a look at the Barbarians, Bam is an all-star. Surprised me that he was an all-star. Pascal, he's the one who probably should be an all-star instead. Tatum, we know, very good, 42.6. Curry, 40.4. And Lillard and Curry to be both over 40 is massive, but Curry will miss this series. And that is a huge factor, I think, because if Curry's not playing, then that's really going to be a factor. VanVleet, surprised that he's at 31, but he's been good in the last 20 games. Simons, yeah, expect that. Bogdanovic and Maxi about the 25, 26 FP range. Bojan has been still pretty good. Maxi quieting down lately. I know they'd like him to be a bit better, but this is going to be a great series. This is 1 versus 4 in the league, and they're doing it in the round of 8. Cows and Nerds, this is a big series. Jaren Jackson and Julius Randle and Jaylen Brown have been massive. RJ Barrett, hate the guy. I think he's definitely overrated, but he's very young, so he can turn things around. He's 26 fantasy points a game at the moment, as is D'Angelo Russell as a new NBA home. Steven Adams, don't know if he'll be back. He should. He'll be a factor if he does. Jeremy Grant, not sure why he's gone down to 7th. I'd probably have him maybe starting above RJ Barrett because he is a better player, but he might be out injured and he's probably had a colder run lately. Norman Powell, yeah. Karis LeVert. The Nerds. Vucevic has been good, very good the last 20. Look at that, 37.6. That's been massive. Middleton, yeah, very good the last 5 games at 27.2. That's looking good. DeRozan, yep, all-star, 34.4, but it's quieting down a bit. Clay, I don't think he's that great. He's just had a good run lately without Steph, and he'll need to play well to win this series. He'll need to average 33 fantasy points a game, and James Harden will need it in the upper 30 range as well. The bench, PJ's up to 6th. That's interesting. He's had a good run lately, 24 over the last 10. Draymond Green, very, very consistent, I think. Markel is a good player of late as well, 22.1 for the year, very solid for Markel Fultz. Precious Achiuwa, I'm not sure if he's going to be in the 9, but there he is at the moment. I think I saw someone else further down. I think Zubac is a lot better player than Precious Achiuwa, but Precious has got a bit of a run at the moment. So I think he may be interested to see what happens there. On to the last game of these round of 8s. Boars and Predators. I like this matchup, and it's definitely not going to be a an easy series for the Boars. It just depends on KD. It does depend if he's back. Bang! I think they'll get through because he hasn't been around much. He's played 39 games. Edwards is up to 60 games. He's the Iron Man on the team. 34.1 fantasy points. LaMelo has missed 25 odd games. 35.9. So they're the three big guns. Allen is okay. Wood has had a really terrible run lately. He's had like one good game in the last 5 or so. John Collins has been shizen all year. Russell Westbrook is not even going to play, so why is he even in the lineup? I don't know. He sucks. He's pretty bad. But it does say 27.5 fantasy points for the season. But I don't see him playing in this series. But I could be wrong, but I don't see it. Plumlee, no, his stock has gone down. Smart has been injured, so they're very soft here with the bench. Incredibly soft at the moment. Yeah, so that's a bit about those TRSBA playoffs. Best of luck to those 8 teams. Let's talk a bit about the poll results. McD goes, "Oh, it's going to detract from the playoffs having these polls and all that sort of stuff." Well, fucking come on. I'm sure we do it at this time of the year before, so I wouldn't really cry about it too much. Here's probably some. These are the 2 ones that I wanted to point out the most, but we'll go through all of them. We are having a change for next season. We've got 9 votes to 5 here. We've had 14 responses so far, so there might be 2 or 3 left. TRSBA will revert back to the old lottery system next season. That will happen. So we are going to go back in the 23-24 season. We are going to go back to 4 lottery teams, and we're going to go back to a 12-team playoffs, which probably would have been good this year because it's been a very competitive year all around. And for the Pens and the Jags to miss out on the playoffs after their great seasons, probably a travesty because those guys could have had a chance. I know the Jags would have loved a 5-game series with. We would have loved a 5-game series, that's for sure, with whoever the third team was. I think it was Dan. So we would have loved that series. I think we would have won that series too, maybe. You don't know. But I think so. What else have we got? 2 conferences are staying. So we did toss the idea up of having 1 conference. And we did get 5 votes for that. So that's still a bit of support. Yeah, 5 to 9. So that's not going to get up. Once a team is eliminated from playoff contention, this could be known as the BMC rule. They're going to be hamstrung from waiving players. So that is happening. There's only a couple of people that voted against that. So we're just going to work on the mechanics of that, whether it's 18 FP, whether it's just all of the abilities. But that's going to really place a lot of burden, I think, late in the season, probably over the last 10 or 15 games for those teams that are tanking. They're just not going to be able to make any moves. If you decide to tank, or once you've just got a shit team, it makes it hard, I guess. But we don't want to benefit the other teams that it can still benefit by just picking up a free agent off the free agent list like that, which is what we saw this year. First round picks may be protected. So this is the rule for the second round. As we're looking at changing this so that all first rounders are potentially allowed to look at this as well, because a lot of these guys don't play as much in the first year. So it's 8-6. It's a very close vote at the moment. So we'll see what the next couple of 2 or 3 bring in. We just need 1 more in order for that to get up. Just 1 more vote, and first round picks will be able to be protected, and they don't necessarily need to be signed. So it's basically the same as the second season. They will be able to sign that rookie contract in the second year. We might go over that if it gets up, just to make sure we got the clarification on that. But the first things first, are these guys allowed to be just protected as part of those 2 protection slots? And I think that's a great idea, especially now knowing that the salary cap is it's not getting up. So we had 5 people vote for the change. I think the president was one of them. I was one of them. to increase that cap to 42.5. So we did have some support for that. It was mainly the hamstrung, a lot of the hamstrung teams, but then most of the teams still said just leave it as it was. But I don't know if there's any way to, you have to really, a lot of the teams are sort of hamstrung. I think 6 teams I would count would be really battling with the way the salary cap does restrict you. So that's been another episode of the TRSBA podcast with your Commissioner, Tim Wilshire. Best of luck to those in the playoffs. It's been great. We look forward to seeing how it all plays out, and looking forward to seeing how that last poll in particular does finalise. 3 votes needed, and that first round pick can be protected like the second round picks are at the moment. They don't have to be signed if you don't want to, and it does work well. It gives them an extra year to say, okay, well, I want to sort of manage my guys going forward. I think it's a great idea. So yeah, that's the commissioner of the TRSBA. Thank you very much. Bye for now.